During the Monte Carlo weekend, an intriguing development unfolded, capturing the attention of the F1 community. As cranes were retrieving Sergio Perez's crashed car, the underside was inadvertently exposed, unveiling Red Bull's ground effect floor design, which has played a pivotal role in their season's dominance. This revelation sparked a myriad of reactions among the other F1 teams. Let's delve into what they had to say about the RB19's floor design and whether it will be replicated by other teams. In the world of Formula One, the floors of the cars hold a significant role in determining their performance on the track. Normally concealed from prying eyes, these floor designs are closely guarded secrets of the teams. However, the Monaco Grand Prix brought a rare opportunity for everyone to get a glimpse beneath the surface. Lewis Hamilton's crash during the final practice at Mirabeau and Sergio Perez's accident in qualifying led to the use of cranes to hoist the Mercedes and Red Bull cars high in the air. As these cars dangled from the cranes, photographers got the chance to capture the intricacies of the underfloor designs. These snapshots of the floors caused quite a stir in the F1 community, igniting excitement among fans and piquing the interest of the teams themselves. One team particularly intrigued by what they saw was Mercedes. They openly acknowledged their fascination with the Red Bull design. They recognized its remarkable complexity, setting it apart from the rest. With F1 now featuring ground effect aerodynamic cars, where the downforce is primarily generated by the floor and its vortexes, the disparities between the Red Bull and Mercedes floors are obvious. F1 journalist Ted Kravitz highlighted this during his post-race analysis on Sky Sports, stating, "Seeing the differences between the Red Bull floor and Mercedes makes it clear why the RB19 is the one winning races and championships." Kravitz, impressed by what he witnessed, couldn't help but describe the Mercedes and Ferrari floors as prehistoric in comparison. He drew attention to the meticulous details, even in the smallest components, noting, "Even the little guide fences have got guide fences of their own on the Red Bull." Aston Martin's performance director Tom McCulloch admitted he was particularly interested in seeing the wear on the plank on the RB19's floor, as that would tell him a lot about the car. McCulloch stated, "Obviously, there are some great photos. A lot of people were there, so I'm sure the aerodynamicists will be having a good look at all the cars that were lifted up. Thankfully, ours hasn't been lifted up yet. Let's try and keep it that way. The aerodynamicists never want to show you that. You learn a lot from just even how the plank is worn. You learn from what it's touching. There's a lot of very excited aerodynamicists up and down the pit lane looking at all of that." Rather than be annoyed that everyone was having a good look at Red Bull's race-winning RB19's finer details, Marco saw the funny side in that being compared to the Mercedes floor. He stated the Mercedes car was in the air for much longer than ours, only nobody was as interested in that as they were in our car. Asked if he also wasn't interested in the W14's new floor, Marco laughed no. Jokes aside though, it wasn't ideal for Red Bull, as the new generation of ground effect aerodynamic cars sees the floor and their vortexes create the car's downforce. It is, many would say, the main secret to Red Bull's rampant success, with the team having won 23 of the 28 races in the new era. But while Marco would rather his rivals didn't have photographs of the floor, he accepts that's just part of the RB19 success story. The 80-year-old said, "Of course we don't like that our floor was on display. Okay, the floor is very important, but if you don't have all the other parts of the car and the concepts behind it, it's not that easy to copy things." He explained, "It's not just the floor. That floor has to work well with the front wing and the rear of the car, for example. It's about all those things together, and that makes it much more complex than just the floor." Williams head of vehicle performance, Dave Robson, agrees with Marco that while the photographs are great, copying the design with all its intricacies won't be easy. He said it's so complex on a 2D photo. Because of the way the light is, it's so curved, you can't figure any of it out. I guess it's just coincidental they do it all like that because that's how they get the downforce. But it doesn't half make it difficult to copy. As for Red Bull team boss Christian Horner, he reckoned that while the images of the floor may have been new to the public, rival squads probably already had spy photographs of it. "It's very rude to look up people's skirts, really," Horner joked about the images of the Red Bull underside. He continued, "Pictures of floors get taken in and around the paddock. They arrive in vans, they work with the cars, and the shutters are up, and so on. And each team will be employing spy photographers to get pictures of the cars when they're in parts and pieces. That's common practice. So I wouldn't have thought it was the first time a picture of the floor had been taken. It was probably the first time it had been suspended from a crane, but all teams are always striving for that intelligence." Despite having access to numerous photographs of Red Bull's floor design, Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur acknowledges that replicating the race-winning concept is easier said than done. Vasseur emphasized that capturing just one part of the car is not sufficient since the design is a comprehensive and interconnected system. In an interview during the Spanish Grand Prix weekend in Barcelona, he explained, "I think that we all have a lot of pictures of the other cars, but then it's quite difficult or even impossible to try to copy something because it's more a global concept and you can't copy just one part of the car." On the other hand, McLaren team principal Andrea Stella expressed his admiration for Red Bull's innovative technical ideas and recognized the significance of their floor design. Stella acknowledged that he personally spent time analysing the floor, but with a team of around 100 aerodynamicists at McLaren, he anticipated that they would devote even more attention to it. He found the design highly interesting, emphasising its complexity and the quality of Red Bull's development. The Italian says it's no wonder from what he's seen that Red Bull have won 23 of the 28 races in F1's ground effect aerodynamic era. He added, "So to be honest, when I saw it, I said hats off to Red Bull. I can understand why they have this kind of performance." Despite the exposure of Red Bull's car floor design, no team is likely to come close to challenging their dominance this season. Red Bull's dominance in the 2023 Formula One season is unquestionable. As we head into the Spanish Grand Prix, Max Verstappen leads the championship standings with a substantial 39-point advantage over his teammate Sergio Perez and a staggering 51-point lead over the next non-Red Bull driver, Fernando Alonso. With 4 wins in the last 6 races, Verstappen has been a force to be reckoned with, while Perez has also contributed 2 victories to Red Bull's triumphs. This remarkable performance has propelled Red Bull to a massive lead in the Constructors' Championship, with 249 points, leaving Aston Martin, Mercedes and Ferrari trailing far behind. With 6 consecutive wins under their belt, the question arises, is a perfect season within Red Bull's reach? Both Verstappen and Mercedes driver George Russell expressed belief in Red Bull's potential for a flawless campaign based on their exceptional pace. However, Verstappen humbly acknowledged that achieving a perfect season is highly unlikely, as unforeseen circumstances and challenges often arise in the unpredictable world of Formula One. Verstappen stated, "I think we can, but that's very unlikely to happen. You know, there are always things that go wrong." Throughout Formula One's history, there have been periods of one team reigning supreme. McLaren and Williams exchanged titles in the 80s and 90s, while Ferrari dominated from 1999 to 2004. And Red Bull enjoyed its own streak of success for 4 seasons. Most recently, Mercedes claimed the Constructors' title from 2014 to 2021. Verstappen recognises this pattern, highlighting that as regulations remain stable, teams become more competitive, leading to closer battles on the track. Efforts have been made to level the playing field and promote closer racing in Formula One. The introduction of cost caps aims to limit spending and create a more equitable environment. Teams continually strive to find advantages within the regulations, and significant changes are not expected until the engine regulations are revised in 2026. While Red Bull's RB19 is undoubtedly one of the most dominant cars in F1 history, there have been even stronger contenders in the past. McLaren's 1988 car, for example, regularly outpaced the grid by a second during qualifying and won an impressive 15 out of 16 races that season. Additionally, Mercedes achieved a remarkable 90.5% win rate in 2016, holding the record for the highest number of wins in a single season with 19 victories. What's your thought about the exposed floor of the RB19? Will we see teams replicate the design? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. See you in the next video.